Hello, everyone. Hi there. Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon in our first Facebook Live and YouTube Live workshop. And we're going to make some daffodils this afternoon. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm so glad you could join me. So thank you. I've got some real daffodils here, actually. These are from the garden. And I didn't realize actually we had a couple of different types here. So we've got this, your kind of traditional gorgeous yellow daffodil. And then there's this one, which is a bit more like a narcissus with the orange in the middle. They're gorgeous. They smell lovely too. So here are the daffodils, selection of the 3 different types that I've made so far. And it's your choice today to make whatever you like with the colours of felt that were in your pack. If you have your pack, and if you don't and you're just watching along, then that's fine as well. So the packs are still available for sale on the website. So if you're inspired by this workshop, you might want to get yourself a pack. It's got all the felt in it, and it's got the floristry wire and the templates as well that you'll need. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do is I'm going to flip over to the overhead camera, and we'll go through all of the bits and pieces that you're going to need for this workshop. But a good thing to do right now, if you haven't done it already, is to switch on your glue gun, because you know they take a few minutes to heat up. So pop your glue gun on so it's nice and hot and all ready for us to start gluing. And I'll switch over to this camera here. There we go. So you can see me and you can see my hands. I'm amazed by this technology. It's brilliant. What do we need then for this workshop? So hopefully if you have seen the homework in the group, you have cut out your shapes already. So we'll just go through the various shapes that you need from the template. So you might have realized that you didn't actually need to cut the paper shapes out of the template. You can just use the measurements and a ruler to then cut the shapes out of the felt. If you have a roller cutter and a cutting mat, that's really good to use in future if you're going to make loads of daffodils or lots of other flowers all the same. It's really good for getting all the shapes the same size before you cut the petal shapes out of them. So your template has all of your different sizes on it, and from that you would have cut one small piece of yellow, which is the stamen. And the stamen, I'm sure you know, the stamen are the little sort of strands inside the trumpet of the daffodil. So that's what we'd use that piece for. And then you would have cut one piece to make the trumpet, which is the gorgeous center of the daffodil. And then you would have needed to either cut 6 or 8 pieces of felt for the petals. Some daffodils have 6 petals and some have 8. So we're going to make one, or I'm going to make one with 6 petals today. So I've got my pieces cut there. Then this single piece of the pale brown is for the spathe, which is, I can show you on an actual daffodil. It's this sort of papery, it's not really a leaf and it's not really a petal, it's just this papery kind of protective covering that you find at the back of the daffodil. So that's what the pale brown is for. And then 2 pieces of the green for the leaves. You don't need to make 2 leaves, one is good, but 2 pieces. And then you will also need your 3 pieces of floristry wire. So this wire is 18 gauge, I think it's 18 gauge, which is slightly heavier than, so I got 2 different types. So there's 18, and then the other type that I got was 22, which is quite bendy, which will be good for some things, but for this you want this slightly stronger, firmer 18 gauge wire. So 3 pieces of that. your floristry tape. So hopefully you managed to get hold of some. It is readily available. If you didn't manage to get any for today's workshop, it doesn't matter, because you can put it on afterwards, and it just finishes everything off nicely, and actually it holds the leaf in place as you're winding the stem. It just keeps everything together. We've got a couple of felt tip pens. So my favourite Staedtler felt tip pens, I've got them here in orange and green. You might also want to use a yellow one if you're using very light coloured cream felt. You could also use crayons. I have used both, and when we come to the point of using the felt tip pens, I'll explain why I prefer to use pens rather than the crayons. And then all these scissors. So you definitely don't need all these scissors, but look, you've got your small curved embroidery scissors, nice and sharp. I've got another pair of just straight, nice sharp embroidery scissors. I've got my good old Fiskars dressmaking scissors. I love Fiskars scissors. And I've also got a pair of pinking shears. You don't need the pinking shears, but I will show you what to do with these and how effective this can be if you want to use the pinking shears. All the scissors to the side. Of course, you'll need your glue gun. Look how cute this is. It's just so dinky. So the glue gun, I've got this, I've had it switched on for ages actually, so it's ready to go. And it does use, to make one daffodil, uses quite a bit of glue. So I've got a spare glue stick here. Don't want to run out. What else do we need? I think we're good. So let's just have a look. And it's so nice to see so many of you joining. Hi Gina, hi Janet, hi Stephanie. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for helping me with this. Brilliant. Stephanie said, "Oh, once you've got this all set up, there'll be no stopping you. So watch this space." In fact, if you enjoy this, I'm being a bit premature here, but if you enjoy this workshop, enjoy making the daffodils, and you would like to make some more felt flowers, pop a comment below. I'd love to see what you would all like to make next. Okay, let's do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the trumpet piece. So you'll need the single piece of felt for the trumpet and just a pair of your large scissors. And what we're going to do with this is just cut the cord. So cut from about 1 centimetre in at the edge, right up to the corner, and just snip that corner off. And then flip it over about 1 centimetre. You don't need to get your ruler out for this. So you can just kind of judge by eye and snip that corner off. So you end up with a little piece like this. Now, the top of the trumpet on a daffodil has this gorgeous kind of wavy, crinkly edge. So we're going to create that. You can do that. This is where your curved scissors come in handy, or your pinking shears. So if you're using this or small pair of embroidery scissors, you're just going to start at one edge and just snip all the way along, creating that kind of curvy shape there. You want to make it quite defined, because what we're going to do in a minute is we're going to stretch the felt out, which will lose some of this shape. So cut into it a little bit deeper than I have there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how it looks with the pinking shears. So if you've got pinking shears, you can literally just cut all the way across the top like that. So it does look quite uniform, but as I say, we're going to stretch this out in a second, so it'll make it look a little bit more natural when we do that. So the pinking shear is just a really easy way to do that quickly. Okay, once we have got our wavy edge cut along the top of the trumpet, we're going to stretch the felt because the trumpet wants to be much wider at the top than it is at the base. Now this is, the felt's quite tough actually, so just use your hands to work your way along the top of the trumpet and just pull it apart like that. And you can flip it over, do a bit on the other side as well. And the felt does seem to have a little bit of a memory, so it may kind of ping back. So give it a good stretch. There we are. And you can also fold it up and give it a little twist because we want to get some kind of texture into it. So just give it a twist as if you were wringing out, I don't know, a dishcloth. Give it a twist, and then when you open it up, you'll see that it's just got a little bit more texture to it. You still got that nice wavy edge along the top. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a little bit of colour along the top. Now I've used a bit of artistic license here because this yellow daffodil is just a gorgeous yellow. It's slightly darker at the edges, but it's just the same yellow all the way across. The one that I made, this one here, it's a similar colour of yellow, but I've coloured the edge of the trumpet in with the orange pen. So, you know, there's so many varieties of daffodils. Perhaps this one exists, but I kind of made it up. So you want to take your orange pen, and if you've got a piece of scrap paper to do this on, it's good because you will be coming off the edge of the top of the trumpet. So just, oh, it's one of Lottie's drawings. Looks a bit sinister, doesn't it? What is that? She's quite into her Japanese anime. She's obviously practicing. Let's just turn that over. Okay, so with your felt tip pen, what you're going to do is just hold the trumpet down and just with the pen kind of side on, just take the pen edge. You don't want a harsh line. I'll bring this up to the camera in a second so you can see just all the way along the edge, and it's coming right off the edge onto the paper. And then where so if I show you this, where the pen meets the felt, I'm just going to go over that just very lightly, just so that it blends in a little bit. So I'm just going to very lightly, just to blend it in, and then we'll flip it over, do the same on the other side. So I did mention that you could also use crayons or felt tip, not that we're using felt tip pens, crayons or colour pencils. Now, crayons are probably better than colour pencils for this. When I try to use a colour pencil before, you have to press really hard, and it actually makes the edge of the felt really fluffy. And I ended up having to trim all the fluff a bit away. So I did experiment with a few different things for colouring in, and I decided that these pens are absolutely the best. And Sharpie would be good as well. Okay. So we've got our colour on both sides. Flip it over. However, we don't have any colour along this top edge here. And we do want that to be that gorgeous orange as well. So what we'll do is just roll this up into a nice tight coil and take your felt tip pen and just dab the pen all over the edge. Like that. And that just colours in that bare edge at the top. When you've done that, you can give it another stretch. This is where you get ink all over all over your fingers. Good to have some baby wipes handy, maybe. And then we have the trumpet, and it's ready to glue. So what we're going to do now is we're going to glue the trumpet by applying some glue from the glue gun all down one of the edges, if you like, one of the angled edges. So please be careful with the glue guns. Obviously, they're very hot, and the glue remains hot, as you'll discover, for quite a while after, you know, after you apply it. So this is a little bit, it's just one of those things. You will have to handle some of the felt with the glue on it before it's completely dry. And it is hot, so please be careful. And yeah, just take care. So a little bit of glue all down this edge here. You don't need a lot. And I'm going to fold that and then fold over the glued edge and press it down. So the good thing about these Facebook Lives, even though it's live, it will be recorded and it is on YouTube as well. So you will be able to watch it back if you're not catching any of this. Okay, so there we have our little trumpet. You can, if you've got a little bit of overlap here, oops, get it in the right place, bit of overlap just here, you can just take your scissors and snip that bit away just to tidy it up. And again, get your finger, as long as glue's dry, you don't want to pull this apart, just get your fingers into the top of it and just pull it apart. So that you end up with something like this. Okay, one trumpet made. Pop that to the side. And we'll move on to the petals. So you've got your 6 or your 8 pieces to make your petals. And really so simple. You're just going to take your rectangle for your petal, fold it in half. Depends if you're left or right-handed. Okay, so I'm right-handed. So fold it in half with the open edges to my right. And then take your scissors. Probably easier with a bigger pair of scissors for this so that you can make this in one cut. And you're going to cut from the bottom to the top in an arc. Now you don't need to cut right from this folded corner. I'm going to go in not quite halfway along, and I'm going to come cutting through both pieces at once. I'm going to go right out to the edge, and then I'm going to come up at the top, right up to where the fold is, and snip. So when you open it up, you have a shape which has a flat base and a pointed top. And you want them all to be roughly the same size and shape, but it doesn't matter because it's nature and everything's different. So there's one. We'll just go through and make 6 of these. So again, fold over in half lengthways. Get your scissors in about halfway. Oops. Cut right out to the outer edge and right up to the fold at the top. 2. And the third one. So about halfway out to the edge and then up to the top. That's 3. So could you consider doing pansies? I think pansies would be gorgeous. They're so cheerful, aren't they? They come in so many different colours as well. So absolutely, let's think about doing some pansies. And how about some other spring flowers? It'd be nice just to kind of keep up with the seasons, wouldn't it? And some tulips would be nice, I think. Tulips would be quite a simple one to make as well. So again, about halfway along, out to the edge and right up to the top. And the last one of my 6, but you might want to do 8. About halfway along, out to the edge, and right up. I've just missed the fold at the top, so it's a little bit flat, that one. So I'm just going to fold it up again and just go in and give it a snip. Here we go. 6 petals. Now we're going to give these a bit of colour as well. So on the back of a daffodil, it's very subtle. I wonder if we can see on here. Yeah. I feel a little bit bad actually. I've butchered this daffodil to show you, but can you see on the back there's just a little bit, there's quite a bit of green here, but there's just a little bit of green on the back of each petal, and I think it's adding these subtle just bits of colour that really make these daffodils look realistic. So we're just going to take our green felt pen, and on one side only I'm going to just add, and I'm going to go lengthways and not press too hard because we want just a touch of colour. So I'm almost using the pen like a paintbrush, and I'm going to do the same on each one. So just holding it down at the bottom, starting in the middle, and then fanning out to either side. So there's 2. 3. That's a beautiful compliment. You are an artist. Thank you. Thank you so much. That does mean a lot. My dad was an artist and my brother's a potter, so I guess the kind of creativity does run in the family. But you know, there's nothing quite like doing something that you just really love, and it's not difficult, but you know, you find you're in your flow when you're really enjoying something. 6 petals with a little bit of green on. Let me show you up close. So it's very simple, just with that felt tip pen. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make these petals look a bit more realistic as well by giving them a twist. So again, you're just going to just imagine that you're wringing out a dishcloth. Just give it a good twist. And don't open it up again. Just leave it like that. Pop it to one side next to the trumpet. Just so that it will kind of retain some of its shape. So give it, look how orange my fingers are. Give it a good twist. Pop it over there. So lovely suggestions. Peonies would be gorgeous. Oh, they're so lovely, aren't they? I've actually got, it's one thing that I've been quite successful at is growing a beautiful peony, which just gets bigger and bigger every year, and it's a gorgeous pale pink. The flowers are so sort of big and blousy looking. They're beautiful. So peony absolutely would be a lovely one to do. And iris would be gorgeous as well. And the combination of all these colours would be just so nice. We could build up a whole bouquet of colours, couldn't we? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last one, give it a good twist. 6. So we have a trumpet, and we've got 6 twisted petals, and we'll just leave those to the side at the moment. We're going to go on to make the stamen. So we need this little rectangle of felt, and what we're going to do with stamen again is we're going to colour along the top. And again, a little bit of artistic license here. I'm looking inside this one. I don't know if you can see, they're just yellow. I don't mean just yellow, but you know, they're yellow. Inside this, I love this one. So delicate. So the trumpet is really beautiful, vibrant orange, and the stamen are sort of creamy colour on that one. But I'm just going to go with yellow with orange tip. So again, take your felt tip pen and just run it along the top and the other side, flip it over. And again, just like we did with the trumpet, just roll it all up nice and small and take your felt tip pen and just dot it all along the edge there. Now, I didn't say at the start of the workshop how long this was going to go on because I had no idea. So I hope you're enjoying yourselves. We're about half an hour in already. I expect it'll be about an hour, but I could just sit here all day actually. This is going to be the stamen. What we need to do is we need to snip it, and this is where you will want some small sharp scissors, and you're going to cut working from the coloured edge down about halfway, and each little section just 2 or 3 millimeters. Just take your time with this and just snip all the way down. If you're lucky, you get to the end and it just kind of works out evenly, more or less. Doesn't really matter how many you have. I've not counted them. I'm just snipping all the way down there. Now, it's time to attach this to one of the Floristry stems. So this is where the daffodil really starts to come together. It's exciting. What we want to do is get the glue gun, and you're just going to glue half, just along this edge. You're just going to pop a little bit of glue there. And place the end of the Floristry stem on there and just let it dry. Just hold it underneath your finger and let that dry. Now, I think you probably are beginning to see the advantages of having a glue gun rather than using ordinary glue, because you couldn't make something this quickly with ordinary glue, and you'd need to wait for everything to dry and hold the pieces together. So glue gun is definitely the way to go with this. So once that's firmly stuck on, just roll it round towards you. And then when you get to the end, just pop in a little bit more glue on that end. And glue that edge over. You do get these little sort of glue strands, so you can just pick them off. And if you get a blob of glue, if you put a little bit too much on and the glue comes out, you can just snip it off once it's dry. So there we have our stamen. And the next step is to attach this to the trumpet. So just pick up the daffodil trumpet and pop the end of the floristry wire all the way through. Now I've got a little blob of glue on there, so I'm just going to take my scissors and just snip that off. There you go. Now we want to glue the trumpet to the end of the stamen, so just take your glue gun and add a little bit of glue all the way around, and then just pull the top of the trumpet down over it and squish it all into place. You just need to hold it for a few seconds to let the glue dry. There we go. Okay, hope yours are all coming along. I love this next step where we put the petals on. It's like needle felting, when you add the eyes to your creature, they just seems to come alive. So next step is to add these petals, and we're going to glue each one in place. Now, there is a way to do it that will help you to get them evenly spaced around the trumpet. So what you don't want to do is to glue one on and then the next one and then the next one and work round in a circle like that, because you might find that by the time you get round to the beginning, your spacing's out. What we want to do, if we've got 3, we want to attach them like this for the first 3, and then the second lot of 3 go into the spaces in between. And likewise, if you are working with 8 petals, you would attach the first 4 on like that, and then the second 4 would go into the, so you'd have another 2 here. Okay, so we'll start with just these 3. So you want to unfurl them a little bit. Look how lovely that looks, because it's just been sitting crinkled up. It looks much more realistic. Now you want to glue them on so that the green is on the outside. So just remember that the glue is going onto the other side. It's not going onto the green. So I know it seems obvious, but the glue is going onto the opposite side from the green. And you're just going to do this down on your piece of paper. A generous amount of glue onto the end, and then pick up your daffodil and glue it into place. And you can see I've just come off the end of the trumpet, and there's the first one in place. And number 2. So again, a generous amount of glue. And let's just get this spacing right. So I'm going to come here. Sorry, I keep coming out of shot. It's because the stem's so long. I'll try and keep this down. And then number 3. My glue gun's smoking. Do be careful. So number 3, I'm going to put here. So each petal is sort of wrapping around the base of its neighbours underneath. Right, to bend that a little bit so you can see it. There we are, first 3 petals on. And then number 4. And this time these are going to go into the spaces in between. So there's one there. I'm not worried about all the glue strands at the moment. I'll deal with them shortly. So there's number 4. And number 5. And the last one belongs in here. I'm attached. There we are. So yeah, in here. There we go. And just hold that in place. So quick and really so easy and so effective. I can't wait to see your finished daffodils. So there we have, just get rid of some of these strands. Then we've got the daffodil on its bare wire. And the next stage is to glue this the spathe onto the back. So this papery leaf that goes at the back. So again, you've got your piece of light brown felt, and you're going to just create another sort of petal shape, just as you did for the petals for the main flower. So fold it in half, and again from about halfway, cutting round, and then you can go right up to the top and open it out, and you can give this a good twist as well, make it look a bit more crinkly. And open it up. And then again, I'm going to add another glue stick in here because you can see it's beginning to run low. So again, a bit of glue on the squared off end. And this time I'm going to glue it just off the end of the petals and just hold it in place. This is going to be covered with the floristry tape. The joins will all be covered with the floristry tape. So there we go. Okay, so we'll pop that to one side because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the leaves. Now we've cut 2 pieces of green felt, and we need to turn each one of these into a leaf shape. So you can fold this down the middle and use your bigger scissors. It's not quite as easy to do because it's quite a long piece of felt, but just cut it from corner to corner. So from one corner at the bottom, all the way up, get it quite close to the edge, and keep going, watch your fingers, she says, all the way up to a point at the top. Go. And if it's not quite pointed, just fold it over at the top and give it a little snip. Doesn't matter so much about the bottom, that's going to be covered up. So we'll do one, and then we will do the same for the second one. So fold over. Again with your big sharp scissors. All the way up. Now, it doesn't really matter if the 2 halves are not completely equal. You know, if you fold it up and they don't quite match, it doesn't matter because they're actually going to sit, let me show you on here, they're going to sit open anyway. So it doesn't need to line up completely. So with your leaves, you'll need your 2 stems, again, of your floristry stem, and you are going to glue one of these down the middle. Now, the best way to do it, if you've got a good eye and you can judge all the way down, then go for it. And in fact, if you just give it another fold and sort of press down the middle so you can see the crease, then you can just take your glue gun and just do a thin line all the way down the middle. Missed a little bit there. There we go. And you've got your thin line of glue all the way down the middle. Just take your stem and lay it down on top. You can, if you don't want to press it down with your fingers, you can just fold the leaf over and use the felt just to press it down. And don't worry if it's not all completely stuck down because you're going to add a little bit more glue on in a second. So then once you've got it sort of roughly in place, go over it again with another layer of glue over the top of the floristry stem. So a layer of glue all the way down Oops, it's going to be a bit squint. Come back. There. And then fold it over and hold that in place. So the first layer, the first pass of glue will stick the stem down, and the second one will actually fold the felt over and keep the felt stuck to itself. So when you open up the felt like this, you won't see the wire. I just need a little bit more at this end here. There we go. And of course you get plenty of practice. So here's the second one. So again, one line of glue and one stem. And then another bit of glue over the top. This is why you use at least one glue stick. If you're using these little mini glue guns, you'll go through at least one. There we go. And then fold your felt over. And let that dry. Of course, because the floristry wire is bendy, you'll be able to shape all of this once we put everything together. Now I can see there's a bit of glue blobbed out of the top there, so I would just take my scissors and give that a little trim. Let's cut that away. And I'm not going to worry too much. You see this end here, the felt's just come off the wire a little bit. I'm not worried about that because that's going to be covered up with the floristry tape. So I've now got my 2 leaves and my daffodil. So all that remains to do is to wrap everything up with the floristry tape. So if you have your floristry tape to hand, let's do that now. If you don't, you can get some. You could also use you could use green felt. If you cut a very thin strip of green felt and wound it round, but you would need to glue it all into place, and it might be a little bit messy. So highly recommend the floristry tape. Now the thing with the floristry tape is that it likes to stick to itself. It's very good at sticking to itself. It does make your fingers feel a little bit tacky, but it's not that sticky that it will immediately stick to anything else. So I would always start just with a little bit of glue just to give it a kind of head start. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on the base just there. And I'm just going to lay that floristry tape on there and just let that glue dry. Now, I'm no florist, okay? So wrapping floristry stems, that was a kind of a learning curve for me. So if we've got any florists in the group and you've got a nice quick way or an easy way of doing it, then do share. I mean, it's not difficult, but yeah, you'll see. Okay, so we've got that's nicely and firmly attached. So I'm just going to take some of the tape out, and what I've discovered is it's easier to twist the stem than it is to actually try and wrap the tape around, if you see what I mean. So you kind of keep the tape in one place and move the stem rather than the tape. You can kind of squish it into place. If it looks a little bit bulky, just squish it into place. And the trick is, of course, that you're going to come down at an angle. So you don't want to be wrapping it round and round and round the stem in the same place. You see how the tape's coming off the stem at an angle. So I'm just twisting the stem round. Just feel tacky. It's quite good that this is the last step If your tape happens to tear at some crucial moment, it doesn't matter. You can just rejoin it. It's nice and sticky, so you can just rejoin. When you get to, not quite to the end, but just when you're sort of almost at the bottom, just have a look at your leaves and work out at what point you want to join them. So I'm going to, because you can move this up so that the leaf is slightly taller than the daffodil, or you could keep going. And I quite like to have the leaves at different heights. So I'm just going to do a couple more twists and then hold one of the leaves. So this is a little bit tricky, because now what you need to do is you need to wrap it around both the end of the leaf and the stem. This is usually where the tape tears for me. You can just rejoin it. Okay, good. I've got one, and I'm going to take the other one and again hold it together. So now we're wrapping 2 leaves and the main stem. And we'll just keep going. Yay! All the way down to the bottom. And you can either tear the tape or you can snip it with scissors and just squish it all into place. Now, how does it look? Daffodil heads tend to always be bent over. Let's have a look at I'll take one out of this jug here. There we are. So I'm just going to do the same with mine. So bend it over so that the spathe is at the back there. And the leaves tend to be kind of straight up and down, but I'll just give them a little bit of a curve. There we are. There. Now, one more thing to show you. If you would like to do this, this is completely, it's optional. You might notice on some daffodils, it's very subtle, but the petals come into this little point at the end here. You can just see that there. They come into a little point. And on this one here, I've done the same thing. It's a bit more pronounced when you do it in the felt, but it's quite a sweet little way to finish off the petals. And the way to do that is so simple. I'll just do it on one just to show you. Is take your glue gun and just add a small amount of glue. This is where you are going to risk having a bit of a hot finger, and just hold the end of the petal closed while the glue dries. Inevitably, you will get a little bit of the glue popping out there, but just once the glue's dried, just take your scissors and just snip the end off. And it just gives you that little extra point on the end of the petal. I think it looks really nice. Okay, let's come back. Yay! Did you notice I wore my yellow top for you today? I don't really have many yellow clothes, but I put this one on especially. So I really hope you enjoyed today's workshop. I can't wait to see your daffodils in the group. Please post them up on our Facebook page. Remember that we've got those, the packs are still available for sale on the website with the templates, and love to read your suggestions for other flowers. There'll be no stopping me now, because as you can see, it's just easy and fun to do. So thanks very much everybody for joining me, and see you very soon. Bye-bye.